you just came out with this book, Food
Yep.
Forest Revolution.
Yep.
It's amazing, by the way. Seriously, guys, if like literally I was highlighting it, it's like just highlighting. Because anyways, it's great. You guys should check it out. And you really speak to like the person who is starting from scratch, doesn't know what to do.
Yes. The book is simple. I wrote it for people who are just getting started, and the idea of food forest might be new or a little bit overwhelming. And I try to just narrow it down to the most important things, right? Like, why should you do this? How do you do this? What are the most important plants? Didn't want to overwhelm people with like more information than they needed. So my objective was just keep it simple. How can we make this as simple as possible so it feels doable? So people don't get overwhelmed and anxious and freak out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people make it more confusing than it needs to be.
Yes.
It's simple. It's like, hey, here's what it looks like.
Yep.
You're going to learn more along the way. It's okay.
Super simple.
You keep saying, hey, some plants, I've killed plants too. It's okay.
I've killed lots of plants. This is how I know how to help you.
But yeah, so why is this book though? Like what are people going to get from this? And like because that's where you start the book with, why should people even have a food forest?
Yes. So it was really fun because everyone has their own reasons, right? You've got people who are really into food forests because of their bent towards environmentalism, right? And conservation. And this is, sequestering carbon and retaining water, and it's good for the earth, right? Then you've got people who are into food forest more out of like food security and self-sufficiency. Like we want to be resilient and be able to feed our kids and not be reliant on these big systems. And then you've got people who are into it for health, right? Like we want to eat good foods. This is good for our body. As I began to sit down and really think about all the reasons, it was amazing how many more I discovered than just those, right?
There's a myriad of reasons.
There's so many, right? So it's good for your body, not just because you're eating clean food, but because you're exercising, right? Like 30 minutes of gardening is the equivalent calorie burn of 30 minutes of like walking or stretching, or like a Harvard study showed it's exercise, right? It's good for mental health. This is fun. People don't think about it, right? It fights mild depression, anxiety, ADHD. It lowers cortisol, lowers stress. And so it's just like, there's so many reasons.
Wow.
Good for our minds, good for our souls. Like I'm telling you, I have like epiphanies out in the food forest, right? Like I feel like I talk to God, I commune, right?
Wow.
It's good for children, right? Like if we can get children engaged in nature, this is learning, this is science, this is botany, this is ecology, this is entomology. They're studying insects, right? Like kids really get into this. As Joel Salatin says, you have an opportunity to give kids some chores. They need more work to do. Get them working out in the food forest, right? Like pollen mulch, planting plants, having their own little garden bed. You've got, honestly, the economic reasons. People are not thinking about this. You should be thinking about this. In the last 5 years, grocery costs have risen 30%.
Wow.
What if the next 5 years, what if it's 50%? What if it's 100%, right? Like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Inflation. Do you want to be hedged against inflation? You've got a yard. Why not swap out like ornamentals for edibles? Like that just makes sense.
Yeah. Economic too.
Economic.
Big time.
Dude, in terms of time, this might be my favorite reason as like a busy homeschool mom. The food forest is so low maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
We're using perennials, right? Like these are like nature is just taking care of itself. I'm a lazy gardener. This is amazing. So
you keep saying that in the book too.
For real, I am though. I am. It's funny because I endeavored to kind of write a funny gardening book, right? Like I laughed as I wrote it. I hope people laugh while they read it.
Yeah, it has to be fun.
Yeah.
And funny. It is funny, by the way. Like, don't be a diva. Don't pick diva trees.
I hate diva fruit trees. Oh my gosh.
Diva fruit trees.
They're more likely to die. So anyway.
I like that personification. That's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for real, like all those reasons you said, it's not out of this world that inflation does go up that high too.
Of course.
Like, you know,
it's on
if you
an
understand
upward trend. It's not going to go down, folks.
Yeah.
It's going to continue.
And by the way, it's better, man.
Yeah.
So thank you for
there's
sharing.
no chemicals on it, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many reasons.
Yeah, that's the biggest take. That I'm glad you just shared all those, by the way, because there are so many.
Yes.
And that's my biggest takeaway from your book. It's like a reignite of like why we're doing this, right?
Yes. I always think, like, why is the most important question with anything, right? When I was speaking at the Homeschool Expo, I was like, okay, why do we homeschool? Why do we have children? Why do we plant fruit trees? Like, why is your most important question? If you never get to the why, nothing else that you do matters.
Yeah. There's no motivation.
Correct.
It's true.
Correct. So I wanted to like really lay the foundation. Like, this is why. Get super solid in your mind. Why. And then the doing will be easier and more fun, more gratifying.
Totally.
We're in the garden.